Packers fans went from thinking their quarterback was out to seeing Aaron Rodgers lead the team to victory. And a ceremony in Tomahawk honored the memory of first responders killed in the line of duty. The news starts now.
Your local news and weather from where you live. Newswatch 12 Midday starts now.
Thanks for joining us for Newswatch 12 Midday. I'm Angela Kim. If you didn't think the Green Bay Packers quarterback was a superhuman before last night's game against the Chicago Bears, his performance may have convinced you. In the second quarter, Rodgers was taken down for a sack and his knee got rolled up underneath him. He stayed down for several minutes before limping off the field and eventually being carted into the locker room. DeShone Kizer replaced him and proved ineffective as the Bears appeared to have this game in hand with a 17-0 halftime lead. But Rodgers returned for the second half and he completed 17 of 23 passes for 273 yards on 4 second-half scoring drives. This was capped off by a 75-yard game-winning touchdown to Randall Cobb that cemented the improbable 24-23 victory for the Pack. The 20-point comeback is the largest of Rodgers' career.
I'm really proud of our team. After it was decided I was going to come back, I knew it might give us a little jolt. We just had to play a lot better football in the second half, and we did.
The Green Bay Packers hosted the Minnesota Vikings next Sunday afternoon. And Ryan, we're not seeing a lot of rain anymore, so how is the rest of the week going to be going?
No, we've had some pretty quiet weather here across the Northwoods, Angela, and that's continuing today and through the next week. Let's take a look at those temperatures out there this morning. We started off in the 30s and 40s, and right now we're back in the low 60s, 63 in Rhinelander and 61 in Wausau. Those temperatures will bump up into the upper 60s to low 70s by the afternoon. Not much to talk about on that radar and satellite right now. Mostly clear skies are expected through the rest of the day. Maybe a few clouds during the late evening hours. Otherwise, those winds out of the south-southwest around 5 to 10 miles per hour will keep ushering in some warmer air as we continue through the day. So the rest of the afternoon, mostly sunny skies, highs in the low 70s. Of more on the full forecast in a few minutes. Angela?
All right, thanks, Ryan. Tomorrow will mark the 17th anniversary of 9/11. Yesterday, a group in Tomahawk gathered to recognize that anniversary. The event held in Lincoln County's Veteran Memorial Park honors the first responders who lost their lives.
It's a difficult time when you have an event such as this where emergency services people do what they do every day, except this day turned into a day that they did for the last time.
Tomahawk officers, firefighters, EMS, and military members also showed up in support. Tomahawk Fire Lieutenant Kevin Kruger hopes that people don't just remember 9/11 responders, but all responders who lost their lives in the past.
To remember those that have fallen, not only on September 11th, that's the key point here, but those that have made the ultimate sacrifice in war and in police, fire, and EMS. 3
shots were fired in remembrance, and there was a moment of silence as well. And hundreds of bike riders hit the streets and trails in Eagle River over the weekend. They all rode on Saturday to help raise money for a good cause and to have some fun. The 4th annual September ride started at the Tribune and made a stop at the Three Lakes Winery. Riders could choose to participate in a 28-mile trail ride or a 31-mile road ride. After the ride, people could hang out and participate in some raffles.
You end up starting at a brewery, going to the winery, coming back, and then the camaraderie of having the brats and the beer sampling, and with great weather like this, it's great.
Organizers estimated they'd have about 250 riders participating this year. Some riders from Milwaukee decided to participate for the first time to enjoy a day in the Northwoods.
It's beauty. It's just so nice. Everyone's in a good mood. It's a gorgeous day. We're starting fall. So here we are.
The event raises money to help maintain the Great Headwaters Trail. And a chain reaction crash in western Wisconsin left 2 people dead. The La Crosse County Sheriff's Office says that the crash happened Saturday afternoon on Highway 53 north of Holmen. A large milk truck traveling north on Highway 53 was struck by a vehicle. That collision caused another 2 vehicles to crash. 2 of the drivers were killed. Highway 53 was closed for several hours after the crash. Wauwatosa police handcuffed a black teenager after they received a report that he tried to rob a car, but he turned out to be the grandson of one of the passengers. Last week, police were flagged down by a couple that said they saw a robbery occur, and the suspect was in the back seat of a blue car. In dashcam footage, police demanded the teen to walk out of the car backward. Police handcuffed the 18-year-old and put him in the back of a squad car for 6 minutes. In the footage, one of the women in the car identifies herself as the grandmother.
I'm sure he saw two old white ladies in a car with a black kid and makes an assumption.
Well, he was black as well, so I don't know.
Oh, my God. Well, then it's even worse.
In a Facebook post, the police said that the person who falsely reported the crime did not stay in the area as requested and has not been located for a formal statement. One of the most powerful people in the entertainment industry steps down as the chairman of CBS. His department coming just hours after 6 more women accused Le Moonves of sexual misconduct. Here's NBC's Ann Thompson.
This morning, one of the most successful runs in television is canceled, effective immediately. Les Moonves out at CBS. His exit coming just hours after new claims of sexual harassment or assault were published by The New Yorker. In a statement, CBS said the network will donate $20 million to organizations that support the Me Too movement and equality for women in the workplace. That money will be deducted from any severance package for the longtime chief executive. Those benefits withheld until investigations into Moonves' behavior are completed. His exit, triggered after 6 new women on the record with The New Yorker, shared a range of allegations against Moonves, from forcing oral sex to exposing himself, even violence and retaliation. TV executive Phyllis Golden Gottlieb said when they worked at Lorimar Telepictures in 1986, Moonves forced her to perform oral sex on him. She didn't report it because I realized he was the new golden boy. I just kept quiet. After rejecting another advance, Golden Gottlieb says Moonves got angry over her work and threw her against a wall. Last year, spurred by the Me Too movement, Golden Gottlieb told The New Yorker she filed a criminal complaint against Moonves in Los Angeles, but the statute of limitations had expired. Deborah Katay was a massage therapist in the late 90s. Moonves was one of her clients, but she says he was looking for something more.
Every time I went there, I would say no, or I would pretend like I didn't know what he was talking about.
In a statement after his ouster, Moonves said, untrue allegations from decades ago are now being made against me that are not consistent with who I am. In an earlier statement to The New Yorker, Moonves said 3 of the encounters were consensual, but not which ones.
NBC News has not independently verified the allegations against Moonves. And the midterm elections may become a battle of the presidents. Coming up on Newswatch 12 Midday, Democrats want to use former President Barack Obama to make their arguments.
And plenty of sunshine is expected through the afternoon. Temperatures will be on the increase through the rest of the week. When are we going to get rain? Find out coming up after the break. Angela?
All right, thanks, Ryan. And both political parties view the midterm elections as being crucial. Things are shaping up to be a battle between presidents. Democrats are turning to former President Barack Obama to frame their argument to voters. Here's NBC's Kristen Welker.
Former President Obama taking the rare step of coming off the sidelines and entering the political fray, aiming to help Democrats take back the House, calling out President Trump by name in Illinois.
It did not start with Donald Trump. He is a symptom, not the cause.
And barnstorming in critical races in California.
The fact is that if we don't step up, things can get worse.
For his part, President Trump tried to dismiss his predecessor.
I watched it, but I fell asleep.
The vice president taking a different tactic.
It was very disappointing to see President Obama break with the tradition of former presidents and become so political and roll out the same tired arguments.
It comes as the Trump White House is increasingly engulfed in its own set of controversies, including that scathing op-ed by an anonymous Trump official. More than 24 officials have denied writing it. The op-ed echoing themes in the tell-all book from veteran journalist Bob Woodward, accounting widespread dysfunction. Over the weekend, Mr. Trump lashed out.
And by the way, then this idiot Woodward who wrote this book, which is all fiction.
But Woodward fired back.
He's wrong, and my reporting is meticulous and careful.
Telling CBS News.
You look at the operation of this White House, and you have to say, let's hope to God we don't have a crisis.
A Dallas police officer now faces criminal charges after she allegedly shot a man in his apartment. Coming up on Newswatch 12 Midday, the officer apparently entered the wrong apartment after getting off of work. We'll have that story after the break, but first, let's take a look at what's happening around the area.
If you want to submit an area event to see on the air, you must go to our website, WJFW.com. The link is on the top right side of the page where you can click on Area Events. That's where you can view other events or submit one.
This portion of Newswatch 12 is brought to you by Kitchen Bath Mart.
More information comes out of Dallas, Texas today after a police officer apparently shot a black man in his apartment. The officer had just gotten off of work Thursday and may have gone into the wrong apartment by mistake. She now faces a manslaughter charge. NBC's Miguel Almaguer is in Dallas with the latest.
This morning, Dallas police officer Amber Geiger arrested for manslaughter. The 4-year veteran released on bond after she was booked at county jail. Police say last Thursday night, Geiger shot and killed 26-year-old Botham Jean in his own apartment, mistaking the unit for her own.
We're glad to see that the district attorney and others have responded to the calls and demands of this community.
Lawyers for the victim's family say this video was taken by an eyewitness moments after the shooting. A female officer can be seen talking on a cell phone. It's unknown if it's Geiger. Investigators say after finishing her shift and still in uniform, Geiger returned to what she mistakenly believed was her apartment, encountering Jean inside, but she was on the wrong floor. Police say it's not clear what the interaction was between her and the victim. Then at some point, she fired her weapon, striking the victim. After the shooting, Geiger called 911. EMTs rushed Jean to the hospital, but could not save his life.
Bless the Lord, oh my soul.
Jean was an active member of his church and worked as an associate at PricewaterhouseCoopers. Last year, while on duty, Geiger shot a suspect after he wrestled her taser away during an arrest. The suspect survived, and Geiger didn't face disciplinary action. Today, Jean's mother is calling for justice.
If he was a white man in that apartment, would it have been different? Would she have reacted differently?
He went to his grave never knowing why the police officer came into his apartment and shot him.
That Dallas police officer is now free on a $300,000 bond. She has not returned any phone calls, and her lawyer has also not made a comment. Back to you.
And coming up on Newswatch 12 Midday, Ryan Sandberg is back with another check of your forecast. Plus, we'll tell you why older men should make an annual prostate cancer check as a part of their health routine.
Angela?
All right, thanks, Ryan. And every year, millions of men get diagnosed with prostate cancer. However, people who discover the disease early have more options available for treatment. Haley Hernandez reports.
1 in 7 men have prostate cancer. That means of the number of patients Dr. Adam Hollander sees, he could probably diagnose someone new every day.
I would certainly encourage anyone in the target age group, sort of 50s to 70s, to talk to their doctor about prostate cancer screening.
Even though the word cancer is scary, Dr. Hollander said there's lots of optimism with prostate cancer. For one, he says it's slow growing and curable unless it spreads. Common places it spreads to are in the bones or brain, so that can be deadly. But if it's isolated inside the prostate, many patients can choose to simply live with it and observe the growth.
If they start to look like they're advancing, then we would consider treatment.
If treatment is necessary, then decisions get tough. Patients have to choose between surgery to remove the prostate, different types of radiation, or proton therapy. And doctors say each comes with different side effects.
It depends on a little bit on whether or not the patient wants to undergo a surgical procedure or not, and which set of side effects sounds more palatable to them.
Unfortunately, many men trying to avoid those tough decisions can miss their window of early detection, and finding it early leads to the easiest and best outcomes.
And Dr. Hollander says men between 55 and 70 should be screened every year. We'll be right back.
Star Mohican Casino Resort, where there's more action, fun, entertainment, and rewards.
Welcome back. This afternoon on Up North at 4, we'll tell you about plans to show the documentary Written Off in Rhinelander and the Three Lakes. It tells the story of a Northwoods man who struggled for 10 years to escape addiction. His first high came from pills prescribed after surgery. Find out more this afternoon on Up North at 4. And Ryan, in the United States, we usually associate fireworks with the 4th of July.
Right.
But in Paris, France, thousands watched a dazzling display of fireworks light up the night skies over the weekend. The Grand Fou is Europe's largest pyrotechnic display, and it lasted about 2 hours Saturday. The explosions were set to music.
Wow. 60,000 fireworks were set off during the 10th edition of the event. The displays showcased highlights of the previous 9 Grand Fou celebrations. Looks like quite the spectacle there.
Yeah,
all those
wow.
Fireworks. Like a 4th of July. I didn't see fireworks this year.
Neither did I actually, no.
It's
but
kind of a shame,
I wish the U.S. had something like this.
Yeah,
That'd be
right?
fun.
That'd be cool to see. We'd have perfect weather for something like that today. Right now on Sky 12 Live in Rhinelander, plenty of sunshine out there. We're not going to see many clouds across the region through the rest of the day. Actually, the entire week looking pretty fantastic out there. Temperature-wise, we started off this morning a little bit on the cool side in the 30s, believe it or not. Some of us down close to freezing. We're not quite there yet, but temperatures now have risen into the 60s. We'll see those temps rise into the upper 60s to low 70s by the afternoon. Not much on that radar and satellite. Just a few higher clouds across the region, otherwise high pressure in control. That'll keep us dry and clear through the day today. That 7-day forecast paints the picture as well. Mostly sunny tomorrow into Wednesday and Thursday. Those temperatures increasing to near 80 by Wednesday, and then a cold front moving through this weekend could bring us our next chance for rain. So the next 3 to 5 days looking pretty fantastic here.
All right, so I will be swimming in the water if you need me. Yes. All right. Well, have a great day. Join us again this afternoon for Up North at 4.
Oh yeah, I do that.